who, yes, you know, he's done a good job getting back to the level that he wants to be. However, there's no way that he can have a big champion pool still. He took that time off from the game. It's been a while. So a focus ban here with the Rengar, I feel like that's a good strategy.
Well, Lissandra comes up, and actually,
there it is.
Of all champions, Cho'Gath versus Lissandra, my initial thought being that might be an okay matchup, but Benny's going to get himself a Lissandra top lane, maybe goes to Link in the mid.
Now I see why they banned out the Kassadin. I really like Kassadin top lane against Lissandra. He just slowly wins it until he's got his stacking items, and then he can roam around really easily.
That's true.
Fizz, though, an interesting champion. Also usable in the top lane, by the way. Flex pick for this team.
Keep in mind, Rek'Sai is here on PorpoisePops. He's one of the guys who's going to play that type of champion. He's really good on the very fightery junglers. That seems to be his main style. Corki.
Fightery?
Yeah, well, like there's...
I get exactly what you're saying.
Okay, then I'm going to leave it at that. One of the fightery junglers. And Corki also, a contested AD carry, especially with the Sivir ban. It's going to be great for MapleStreet.
Yeah, that's true. After you see the first picks, you really get some insight as to exactly what these bans were targeted at. And they're like, yes, that was the counter we're banning.
Bunch of counter picks gone away.
The only
Look
thing
at that.
is, it gives up that amazing combo. The Jarvan plus Gnar.
Third round Narvan pickup. That is unusual, but it's going to go to CLG, and my god, is their team fight scary.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. And it also does mean that it will pigeonhole Link into playing the Lissandra mid lane. So Slooshi hovering over some wave clear. Both of those champions can shove waves very, very quickly. And Lulu knockup on top of Rek'Sai's own knockup when she gets in there is very scary. Rek'Sai in the middle of a team with a Lulu buffing her up is extremely, extremely scary because her damage output in hand-to-hand combats, as you say, is a very, very fightery champion. Nice. She could definitely deal it out.
As a champion to be worried about here for sure. Also keep in mind, by the way, Rek'Sai is a great top laner.
That's true.
Although they're hovering Sion, so never mind. But
that is something to keep in mind, though. I really do like that she's extremely hard to gank in the top lane. She can use tunnels pre-placed for escaping ganks. Not only that, but she can also unburrow when you come gank her. So she's a very flexible champion. Sion, though, probably going to go in the top lane. If we're calling out flex picks, also can be a good support. Yep. So still an option there. We'll keep all our options open.
We've seen jungle Lulu for what that's worth too, so who even knows? Teammates, we've also seen Corki mid. This entire comp, no idea where it's going. No champion at all.
CLG, though, going up against Corki here. Sivir's already been banned, which would usually be the pick. So maybe he'll go with a Vayne and even try and avoid it and go somewhere else. I always like to see Doublelift on Vayne, but not going to happen this time around.
Very team fight focused for CLG. They've got plenty of wave clear in defense, though. CLG, they bring, like right off the bat, they bring this to 45 minutes. Yeah. You outscale and you win the game.
Yeah, Doublelift has been extremely vocal about Tristana and the state of the champion. Still has that timer that she puts on the game. But man, it's really about the first 3 picks for this CLG team. They're so strong. When have you last seen Janna go to a last pick for a team? This is ridiculous. Sure. CLG have a stacked lineup. This is going very, very well for CLG as far as pick bans are concerned.
They certainly have all the contested champions. All I'm going to say for Teammate, though, is they've basically gotten a counter pick every single lane they wanted to, right? Ban the Sivir, pick the Corki. They got the Lulu after they knew where Lissandra was going, Sion after they knew where Gnar was going, Annie after they saw that Janna was picked up. Theoretically, Teammate have picked themselves winning matchups.
Basically, what I see from Team 8 is a mid-game win. Like, they want to push for a mid-game win. This is what they're all about. They want to take advantage of Rek'Sai's mobility. They want to take advantage of Corki's mid-game power spike, and then have Annie force the issue. Yes. Like, we're locking in Annie so that we can pull the trigger on when our comp peaks.
And keep in mind, of course, that's, I think, and you might agree with me on this one, it's got to be turrets that they take off this, because taking 2-3 dragons doesn't mean that much on its own.
Yeah, I don't know if they could last long enough to take all 5.
Right. And that's the big thing, is normally you'd say, well, maybe Sion gets invincible, but not against Tristana. And if you can get more than just the 3 out of turrets, then maybe you're okay.
Nobody gets invincible versus Tristana.
No, not a single champion. Guys, head on over to Twitter, cast your vote for the winning team, send hashtag CLGWin or hashtag T8Win to @LOLesports. I'm going to tally up those votes shortly, and we'll see, for the sake of the internet, who you guys think is going to win this game. Now, very successfully, I say, both these teams have managed to ban out the counter picks and then pick the champions they wanted. Kind of down the line, the Sivir went away, Corki got grabbed, the Irelia went away, Gnar got grabbed. over and over and over again, these guys got themselves some very good matchups.
Now, the other thing that I want to start talking about very early, because there's a Sion on one of these teams, is the level 1. Now, Sion is a very interesting champion.
Yes.
And since we have a pause, perfect time to talk about the shenanigans that you can pull with a Sion.
I'm ready.
Now, he has this cool passive Phreak where when he dies, he comes back and does a ridiculous amount of damage. So, Sion can basically start at any camp that he wants. He can die to the camp, take it, you know, come back to lane with a buff, or as we've seen, he can actually go for an early dragon. He can even die to dragon with people helping him. They can take a very early dragon as soon as it spawns.
Wow.
I don't think that's going to be the case because it has been done, and all these guys do have analysts watching all the foreign leagues, so they will be aware of it as well. He may just try something a bit easier, like starting one of those camps, and maybe the best case scenario is really when you can start an enemy buff and they don't know about it, and you can die to it and take it.
Yeah.
Especially the blue buff, because then he can just spam his E in lane. But either way, Sion probably going to look to try and get an experience advantage by doing an early camp. Haha, just kidding.
Yeah. Did we see that from Gravity Haunter, though? Because he picked Sion top lane up against Flares, if I got my game properly, and I don't remember seeing that happen. So you could just be lame like Haunter.
You definitely don't have to.
Yeah, but it's cool.
It is real.
I would want to. That sounds great. I didn't realize you could dragon. That's awesome.
Yeah, I watched so many games last weekend. I don't even remember what game it was, but one of the teams pulled it off.
Somewhere in Asia.
Also, they lost. So.
Oh, well, there you go.
But it was cool that they did that.
It is cool.
Sort of.
I like it a whole bunch. So, unfortunately, it looks like someone's got themselves, I would guess, a tech issue. We can figure out what that is shortly for you guys. But we've talked about the team comps. CLG, very, very good at team fighting. Individual playmaking, not bad. Lissandra is going to be good. Gnar, of course, spikes plenty hard early on. Xmithie, if he's on point, is going to be a great ganker on that Jarvan. The only down point being nothing's going to happen in their bottom lane. Yeah. Nothing exciting for CLG, I would say. And you talked about the mid-game power spike. The Rek'Sai able to make a lot of plays early on. Lulu spikes early. Annie just does whatever she wants whenever she wants. So that's kind of the big forces facing each other. Teammate doing stuff 15 minutes in. CLG waiting to weather the next 20 minutes after that.
Basically, that's what we see. The curves a little bit misaligned. The thing is also about Rek'Sai, extremely strong champion at the time. However, susceptible to being kited. Especially when she is burrowed and doesn't have the extra sight if she doesn't have teammates around or wards down. A champion like Lissandra, who's a control-oriented mage, is very strong at dealing with her in 2v2 situations. Really, Rek'Sai gains all of her power when you actually have to fight her hand-to-hand, and you're taking the brunt of that melee damage.
Yeah. And but, keep in mind, actually, sorry, finish your point.
Just say that Jarvan plus Lissandra is a pretty strong combo. So maybe if we do see action from them early on, it'll be centered around those two playmakers.
And of course, keep in mind with that one as well, like, not only do you have all the CC from Jarvan and Lissandra, you've got the two knockback champions in the bot lane. You've got Trist and Janna to really make sure that Rek'Sai is going to be in a sad place. And, her not only just walking around while burrowed, she's a normal champion, interact with all move blocks the normal way, but her using the burrow to move forward, making the tunnels, that's just standard. It's basically like spinning slash from Tryndamere, like susceptible to all the same knockbacks, all the same stuns and whatnot. And
she's not
I mean, she's
really
fast.
Underground.
Yeah.
She's poking up on the surface.
Right. You can see the fin. You can interact with her all the normal ways. Yeah. And I suppose everyone's been playing with Rek'Sai for a couple of months now, so you guys who've been playing solo queue and whatnot have kind of seen this. But if you've been taking a break from League, she's really not any more untargetable than any other champion. So.
Yeah, I think what really becomes dangerous is when she charges in right behind a Sion ult, because the Sion's going to charge right into the team, and nothing can stop him. So he can open up a path for Rek'Sai to get inside. That, or Flash Tibbers, as we said, Annie's going to be really the linchpin that brings this entire team together and allows teammate to actually push the button in the mid game when they do have the power. She's the one who has all of the keys. So it's going to be on Dodo to really start things up for this team.
And one thing I do like about the synergy actually between Annie and Sion is the fact that Sion's got the big dodgeable, unstoppable onslaught, and you got a point-and-click stun to be like, you're not dodging this.
Yeah.
And it's a 1.75.
He's got a dodgeable everything in his kit.
Not the W.
Yeah, you can dodge it. You can get out of range.
Okay, sure, but... Ha! Okay, fair. No, you win. Okay, fine. So you can dodge everything that Sion does, or run away from him, or try.
I thought you were going to go with the synergy because Annie's using the Halloween skin, so she's got the Frankenstein.
I didn't even realize that happened.
Also a zombie.
I wasn't paying attention to the skins, but good point. Now, guys, on our screens...
Phreak.
Well, good job. I wasn't looking as closely into the game. Guys, we are back into the game, though. Game 5 of the day. CLG and Team 8 playing their very first games this year in the North American LCS. And we'll see who joins first place and who joins 6th.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
As they leave their bases.
All right, so defensive lineup here for Team 8. Looks like a little bit of a move down bottom. I really do like this mid ward that Benny's placed as well. A lot of teams have grown accustomed to placing that. But it looks like they are going to go for maybe a delayed invade here. So lane swap could be on the tables here for CLG. Looking to get Doublelift an easy ride.
That would be probably my recommendation here. It's a really rough lane to go up against Corki Annie. One of the most brutal duo lanes in League of Legends right now. Of course, CLG know they got spotted, they hit the ward, but they got some vision control over the blue buff.
They did indeed.
3-man slow. If that were support Lulu, that was 15 gold right there.
But it's not, Phreak.
Nope.
Interesting. That is a pink ward, by the way. That is an early pink ward from Team 8. Who spent their money on that? Was that Sion? Sion did, because he started Flask. He does not have the extra red potions. Really deep pink ward. That is, by the way, up there on the other side of the blue buff. The pink ward for Team 8. Yeah, one of the most rarely checked bushes. However, Gnar is standing right next to it. If he finds that, it will be very sad days for Team 8. However, he does not, because he's doing a camp. So the pink ward will survive. We'll see how long that one goes.
And Benny starting with Hyper. Guess it's the best DPS for taking a camp down like this. And slowly but surely he kites it out.
Executed.
There it is.
CaliTrolz dives to the camp.
That's those Sion shenanigans early on. Can he take them all out? One more left.
Woo! Level 2.
Victory. Benny doing the same thing. Doesn't have to die for his.
He might become Big Gnar, but that's about it.
Does take a lot longer when you're not a zombie, though.
It's true. It's more adorable, though. Aww. You know he spells LOL with the blocks.
Yep.
Attention to detail, Kobe.
Sion, though, got to lane much earlier. You can see the difference here between Sion trying to take advantage of his passive or a standard top laner doing an extra camp. He gets up there much more quickly, has control of the lane. Not only does he have the experience boost, but he gets to shove it as well. And this basically will be the story of the day for Sion. Try and shove that lane, keep it going, and push Benny down. We'll see how well Benny can CS under his turret. He'll do his best to keep these minions pushed.
I just like that Sion harasses by yelling at minions, and they fly across the map and hit you. That's essentially how that works. Xmithie, pretty safe clear for himself. Level 3, both buffs, nice and safe. Similar for Rek'Sai here, PorpoisePops.
He gets seen by the pink ward, walks right through. So they have been alerted to Xmithie's whereabouts, and PorpoisePops is full health. So might try and take advantage. Nope, just hard farming with that Rek'Sai.
I'm a little bit surprised he didn't look to try to fight Jarvan.
Well, you can tell his mentality. PorpoisePops went with the early Rangers purple smite here. So he's looking to hard farm and get an experience and level advantage before he starts fighting. A lot of people do like to get Chilling Smite fairly early on him, but I am a very big fan, especially in competitive play, of the Trailblazer early and trying to farm fairly quickly. Rek'Sai's got great mobility in the jungle. She can use the tunnels really early on to traverse the map and get to those camps very quickly. And then with the Trailblazer, she immediately destroys camps. Whether they're yours or hers, she will take them out extremely quickly, and you can accrue a nice experience advantage on her because she is so quick.
And with the help of CaliTrolz, the Western jungle.
They found the pink ward, but can he use it as bait? Nope.
The answer is no. Yeah, Xmithie
does not take it.
His Raptor buff triggered, and he's like, there's a ward here. And he's like, it's that ward.
He waits until he sees PorpoisePops exit through the river.
Nice.
That Scuttle Crab.
I don't know if it reaches that far. I think he just assumed that she gave up.
Benefit Good timing there then.
Very smart. Link forced away though. Really good early harass. Actually reveals Xmithie's location too. Oh, missed the glitter lance.
And now he doesn't have to clear this fatty wave. He's going to miss some.
Ouch.
Oh.
Yeah. And actually, I got to say, commendable effort to Doublelift and Aphromoo. They're actually really doing an amazing job in this bottom lane. I would not have expected this lane to go well, but absolutely great laning phase. They're up in CS. They're going to remain up in CS, and they're doing a bunch of damage too.
Doublelift and Aphromoo definitely do not afraid of any bottom lane. They will take anyone on. And it's pretty easy if they get the early shove. However, got to be worried about Rek'Sai. They do have defensive wards up. Doublelift has scaled 1 point into Rocket Jump already, so he's feeling safe.
Yeah. Unless we get the anti-flash stun into like a flash on Burrow, there's pretty much no way you're going to start that gank off nicely. Corpus, what? Kited around by the Scuttle Crab. That elusive little water hamster.
No, Crab's dead.
It'll come back in a few minutes. Don't worry. Porpoise pops out of the ground to kill it and goes back to base.
Interesting here, little roam from Link. There's not much he can actually do, especially since the Scuttle Crab is taken, but even so, maybe he was actually looking for a dive down there bottom. CLG have been focusing a lot more on the bottom lane because Doublelift and Aphromoo are such strong laners, calling for a lot more attention down bottom to try and take advantage of that. Won't happen this time though, and Xmithie decides to come in on the pink warded side of CLG. Level 6 with Lissandra, and we mentioned in Champion Select the combo with Jarvan and Lissandra. Very potent. See if they can actually pull it off. Slooshi, being level 6 himself, might be able to get off his ultimate in time.
See just how much in the side. They know there's no wards. Of course, the Raptor buff is there.
Yep, they really want this.
Xmithie only 4 to PorpoisePops is 5. If those two ever do battle. But Rek'Sai's on the other side of the map right now. She's coming down towards the bottom right. Nothing going to happen. Xmithie just wasting his time for now. Getting out-farmed.
Yeah, both junglers really putting a lot of effort into counter-ganking each other. But just missing.
Really heavy armor stack. So CaliTrolz burns his teleport just now to get back to lane. Benny would know this based on the recall timings and everything. So CLG know there's a TP advantage. PorpoisePops gets another scuttler, but now the southern one, the one by the dragon, is gone. Yeah. Benny burns his own teleport though, so neither top laner can now join the dragon fight if either wants to do this.
Scuttle Crabs, definitely very easy money early on. They do get extremely tanky. I want to say, as Rek'Sai too, one of the most important things is laying down your tunnels so that you can capitalize on them once you're 6. Pre-6, he's getting some of the ones that you really need in there. I really like the ones towards mid lane into that side bush because they're hard to clear, and you can actually fight and bait fights over those tunnels when someone tries to clear it. The other ones I really like are towards the sides of these lanes. You can jump from this tri-bush into the lane towards the turret, and you can just leave it there because it's so dangerous to kill this tunnel.
They're going to try. Doublelift gets stunned. There's a flash on Burrow, but doesn't stop the rocket jump. Casted about an 1/8 of a second too early. And out goes Doublelift.
All right, so he loses his flash. Pretty much a waste there. But that tunnel that he just laid, that's perfect example. This is the one I'm talking about. It's so hard to clear that because you have to get into turret range. So you can leave that there, and then when your cooldown's back up, you basically get 2 dashes now. You come in through that old tunnel, and you get 1 more tunnel. Too bad he doesn't have any flash, but that would be the way that you can cover a lot of ground on Rek'Sai, and why her ganks on side lanes are really effective.
Link wants to party. In comes Jarvan as well, and out goes PorpoisePops. Is the team going to be there in time? 800 health on the blue buff. Smite not up for either jungler. The burst comes in, and that's going to be grabbed. Nicely done by CLG, but here comes Dodo. Timbers is in. 2-man stun. The flash required. Xmithie gets out.
Nobody able to follow up. That is huge. No flash Rek'Sai, no flash Annie. A lot of the bite has been taken out of this teammate team. They do not have very many tools to work with now. Probably going to have to wait those cooldowns out, actually.
Yeah. Unless
it's an amazing Sion ult from Cali, then it's really going to be CLG's game right now. The onus is on them.
And I got to say, I'm impressed by the gall for them to say, you know, we're not a very good early game team. We have a Tristana down in the bottom lane. She's not going to do much for a while, but you know what? Let's go for the jungle invade. Let's pressure the blue buff. We think we're going to be fine. Ended up being right. Ended up getting a buff steal. And of course, late game is still theirs.
They actually, yeah, they actually don't have to do anything. right now, except continue to farm. Gnar is getting a decent amount of work done in the top lane. Trying to get an early Spectre's Cowl here, so the annoying Sion spam won't be as big of a deal either. Very interesting bottom lane here too. Doublelift up 20 CS, constantly shoving this lane in. Even with the existing Rek'Sai tunnel, he's not scared at all. Increased movement speed from Janna. Janna's got her knockups now as well.
Yeah.
And rocket jump, he's completely safe. There's the call of the Rek'Sai ultimate. Early on, it's often used just to get more of a level advantage and a gold advantage to jungle faster, just so you can move around the map to get to the camps quicker and clear them very quickly.
Ooh,
Sneaky move here into the back here by PorpoisePops.
Nice.
Can he actually get anything out of that, though? Because there's nobody mid lane, so that they're pushing on an empty turret here, and they're just going to take down the turret. Meanwhile, CaliTrolz
should know he's outnumbered here. Jumps in anyway, takes a bunch of damage, but oh, nice. Pops the ult, spams a couple of emotes. Lives up to his name.
on Benny's house.
That's true. He's throwing a house party.
Uh-oh. Party down bottom, too.
2 versus 3. No teleports available. First blood picks up. There's the TP coming in now. But is it going to be too little too late? Xmithie is low. Good exhaust keeps him safe. Looks like Cali wasn't even able to finish the teleport anyway.
That is such a risky play to burst an Annie down to try and kill her before she can get a Tibbers off. But they did it. 0 ultimate from Annie means it's an easy kill down bottom. They have to worry about getting out, though.
Ooh, this could be scary. Now, Xmithie is back under his own turret. Doublelift is going to be spotted by Tremor Sense here, I'm pretty sure. Also spotted by maplestreet, so that's easy. And looks like Xmithie will get out safely. Double, though, does burn his flash, but it's going to be enough for the ignite anyway. Porpoise gets the kill. There's revenge for Team 8. They're up in gold.
Yeah, they got that mid turret. Nobody had eyes on it, but that was that move that PorpoisePops made. Down into the bottom lane now. They're going to stack turrets on turrets. This was the main point, taking down outer turrets to try and get this mid-game gold. If they can get the cash flow right now, well, it's going to delay it.
Yeah.
But if they can get that cash flow increased in the early game and get to the mid-game point that much quicker, then it's a really good sign for Team 8, because they definitely do have to pull that trigger in the next few minutes. 2 turrets, good start.
Yeah, and you notice that they chose to go for the turret, not the dragon they could have gotten. Ben used his teleport to go top lane, no threat for him showing up, but turret was the more important pick up there.
Yeah, 6% right now does almost nothing for them. A lot of people building tank on their team. Trinity Force is not raw AD or raw AP.
Yeah.
So they can wait on that first dragon. Doesn't really help them as much as the gold that is going to get to that Trinity Force quicker.
And there's a second pink ward on that same location that just got cleared by CLG. Teammate really loved that one, just to the left of mid-turret. Porpoise gets the Raptor buff, clears a ward for it. CLG doing something similar with a sweeper.
Doublelift rushed a Blade of the Ruin King as well on Tristana. With the recent nerfs to Infinity Edge, I was wondering which ADs are going to stop rushing the item. 5% crit is actually a pretty big hit for the early game.
Yeah.
And not that many people still really like getting the Phantom Dancer. So it looks like Doublelift has already started with a new build path here, going with the Blade of the Ruin King. Now, not only does it give him more peel, but it actually also does help him if he decides to jump in.
Yep. This was the this was kind of the Season 3 builds for a little bit. This was when Reckless was on Copenhagen Wolves way back in the day. He would go for this and just continuously jump in looking for fights. And this also gives Tristana a bit of a better mid-game. If you're waiting for the IE to finish and then another crit item to show up, whereas if you have Ruin King, like, you do something right now.
Yeah, and the only really hard part about this item path is before you get the actual completion of the Blade of the Ruin King. When you're sitting on just Cutlass and some daggers. But he bypassed that really easily. Very easy laning phase for Doublelift. Sneaky little dragon right here. Through the ward. And nothing that Team 8 can do about it because they made the move up towards Blue. Not only do they get the blue answered for, dragon goes down. See about this mid lane push though, because Team 8 are trying to answer with a strong mid lane push. Rek'Sai plus Lulu.
CaliTrolz also bullied out top lane, so I mean, yeah, okay, Dragon got taken, but teammates looking at a 3-turret lead right here. Okay, make it 2 because Doublelift pushed bottom lane again, kind of with no
Everybody's
whatsoever.
heading up to the top lane as well.
Blue buff, trade blue buffs.
Still there. So they don't even get to answer back blue buffs here because CLG have made it over. It would be a 4 versus 3 if they attempt this blue buff steal. Yeah, good call by teammate. They don't want to extend their stay here in CLG territory.
Problem is I just wonder how much teammates are actually able to get here, especially because Doublelift managed to trade that bottom turret back. They actually managed to get their first dragon as well. Their outer turrets aren't that hard to take. Teammate got those 3, but if you can't get any more than this, again, the ticking time bomb of CLG is going to be too much to deal with.
Interesting as well. We have the skirmishers upgrade for the smite for Xmithie on Jarvan here. Now, I love the Stalker's Blade on Jarvan just because of the slow, so you can easier land your EQ combo. However, if you aren't making those super early game ganks, and especially now that the Stalker's Blade slow has been reduced,
yeah,
the skirmishers is always a good pickup on him as well because you're trapped inside Cataclysm with someone else. Guaranteed somebody else is in there with you. So you always will get some value out of that skirmisher's blade. Yeah. That was kind of the only drawback to Jarvan Ultimate that I ever saw is, yeah, it's a great gap closer and you can always get to somebody, but they're not CC'd. They could still attack you while they're in there. If you reduce their damage that they deal to you with your smite, then it really patches up some holes for him.
Yeah, something we've seen a little bit. I remember in Rocket versus Gambit, both Diamond and
both
Jacob
of them
fought
had skirmish.
Yeah, it was like Lissandra versus Jarvan, and they're both like, yeah, I want to make sure I can duel you really well. I do think it's an underappreciated smite. I agree with you here in this one. All it takes is one auto attack, and the true damage exceeds Chilling Smite's true damage. And then anything past that, you actually have more damage output. And Jarvan's typically only build 1 damage item, so you extend your threat here to your opposition. You can get probably, I think, optimally about twice as much damage as you would have gotten from a Chilling Smite. So getting like 200-300 true damage is a lot of pain to deal to somebody. Plus, of course, the tank stats you're talking about.
Yeah, and the 20% reduced damage taken from the opponent that you smite with it is actually really huge too. Yeah. Since Jarvan won't have a problem sticking to you.
Yeah, right now the numbers, by the way, for the comparison, is 108 damage at a level 9. Jarvan's 108 dot over 3 seconds versus 84 for the Chilling Smite burst from PorpoisePops with the Chilling Smite. So Porpoise is 1 level down, but again, the damage just slightly eclipses it, and especially because you can trigger it more than once in a fight. There is some threat to have here. Also worth pointing out, PorpoisePops did get himself a Sight Stone, so he's really, really trying to get the vision game going, which does surprise me a bit, being that he's Rek'Sai. That's a champion that I feel like needs to continue to be a damage threat to be useful in the game. But maybe that's just me playing solo queue too much.
I mean, Sightstone is always good on Rek'Sai because of the part where if you're by yourself, then you don't have a very strong vision. So it always feels nice to have a Sightstone as well, not only to help out your team vision, but also so that you don't have to walk around blind all the time underground and just rely on the sonar. So I do kind of like it there, but I definitely think you are right in pointing out that she is a very strong duelist, and taking advantage of the damage that she can deal is always a pretty strong strategy. Yeah, especially since he's the one with the kill on their team.
That's true. It is a fairly low kill game, about 16 minutes in. I know the initial pause was for Doublelift saying he didn't have any in-game sound, although it seems like Link is requiring some help right now. So I'm unsure if someone else found themselves with some issues. But look at the rest of this game. We definitely have full tank Sion. It's been Frozen Heart first almost all the time for him. Added a Giant's Belt, which is interesting. I don't normally see that, but just adding more combat sets for the most part. It's also a very physical damage heavy composition. Really only Lissandra dealing magic damage from CLG. And that's not usually that bursty of a champion. You see cooldown boots more than Magic Pen. You get an early Zonias instead of a Death Cap.
Yeah. So Cali can probably feel safe that he won't get ulted by Lissandra. However, she does have a decent amount of AoE that he will be taking, side shots from. And since Link has rushed this Morello, he can actually have a pretty good mid game right now. We were wondering about how CLG will get through this part. With the itemization that they've actually taken, they've already hit quite a few item breakpoints for a lot of their guys. So even though they are slightly behind in gold, it looks pretty strong for them because remember, they do have that dragon buff as well.
Right, and the fact that they're down 2 towers and yet still only down 500 gold for it means they're straight up winning their laning phases.
Oh yeah, just CS is crazy for them.
Right, exactly. You've got somehow Jarvan keeping up in CS against Rek'Sai, a 20-something minion lead here for the Lissandra, and a 25 minion lead for Tristana, which shouldn't happen, just straight up. Should not happen in this game. So props to Double and Aphromoo, props to Link, and the individual skill of CLG is carrying them through the early game, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah, I think definitely, especially Link deserves some praise because, especially in the offseason, a lot of people were wondering even if he would be back on the team.
Sure.
But as we said, they held tryouts, he went through them, and he earned his spot back. He's definitely committed, and he has performed quite a lot better in recent memory. So
yeah,
we'll see if he can continue that. His big problems have usually been in the really high pressure games. So regular season LCS games, I do expect him to perform at a very high level.
Right.
We'll see as we get closer to playoffs and stuff like that if the old problems of high pressure games still persist with him.
That's true, and it's often a sort of a problem of just sort of doing it enough until you get used to it. One of the stories I remember is the team that's now qualified for the European LCS, H2K, back when they were Cloud9 Eclipse. They went through a couple of organizations there. They were always touted as the best team in Challenger and then never performed when it came time to the promotion tournament. Mm-hmm. They routinely got destroyed. And you saw kind of their shining star Forbidden show up in the EU LCS and crush Elements, crush Froggen in his debut. And it's like, hey, these players finally learned how to perform properly. Again, H2K doing well in the expansion tournament. Forbidden himself doing very well on Fnatic. And it was just a matter of time until these players got good at playing in the higher pressure games. I think Link, similar for him.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason we constantly are overvaluing veterans. It definitely does pay off to have that experience.
To prove they can do it.
All right, let's see if Team 8 can actually pull the trigger now, because Annie has her stun charged up, no flash available. So it may be the situation where they are looking for the Sion to sort of, if not hit his ultimate, at least corral CLG into an area where Annie can hit her. Even though Sion may not always hit his ult, he at least zones out a large part of the map. Vroom! That was not as epic of a sound as the ultimate deserves, I feel, Phreak.
It didn't do anything epic. He showed up mid lane.
Little bit lackluster.
Well, when Porpoise flanks somebody and gets a triple kill, I'll do something other than Vroom.
All right.
All right, Kobe.
You're setting the standard pretty low here, and you're going to amp it up. I like it.
Over the river. What do you want from me?
Circling around the dragon pit right now is PorpoisePops trying to get some deeper vision. That's one thing that Team 8 have not been able to do, is really encroach anywhere on CLG territory. It's been hard for them to really get back into this jungle. They placed the early pink ward. We saw this was definitely an early goal for them, and they've continued to try and keep that up. But really all of CLG, not just Aphromoo, have done such a good job of cleaning off their jungle and keeping out that vision from Team 8 so that it's hard for Team 8 to make that mid-game push and try and get a pick.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's been a team effort for CLG. Oh, CaliTrolz getting jumped on in his own pink ward. In comes Lissandra as well. Ult's out of it. CaliTrolz afraid.
So no Sion ult and no Annie flash is a really big problem for Team 8. They would have to get Rek'Sai in range for a flash, which is much, much harder to do.
Oh, absolutely wonderful stuff by Counter Logic Gaming. They are stifling all of Team 8's opportunities as they slowly tick up in gold, as they slowly scale into the end game. And that is not a good thing for Team 8 when that happens here. Xmithie, in his debut in Season 5, also doing a pretty good job. Here's the jump in. Doublelift just rocket jumps away, and mid turret's almost dead.
And Doublelift looks to be building more attack speed here, makings of a Zeal at least on his Tristana. Now, that does work really well when you have especially Janna as your support. Adding that extra to AD, you get a lot of value when she puts that shield on you, since he's built so much attack speed. Benny finishing up the top turret here while CaliTrolz was occupied. And Benny the sub, even CS here, using Gnar for CLG. So far, really strong performance from him, I have to say. As the sub coming back, just being called up out of nowhere. We'll see how he performs in the team fights, because Gnar, very tricky. Got to work around that Gnar bar, as Riv called it. I really like that definition.
I like that, yeah, that's a good one.
Sounds like a candy bar that I would love to try, right? Please.
Do you gnaw on a Narbar? Got a silent G, it's a good word. It's the best I got. I'm warming up, guys. Beginning of the season. Benny's still getting pushed around a little bit. I mean, he's certainly playing reasonably passively. He's not trying to do anything too flashy. And again, the team comp doesn't require that.
And he is full tank Gnar, so...
Sure. We've seen that mostly today, actually.
Yeah, not a whole lot he could gain with the 1 versus 1. Wow, that Ward's staying around so long now that Xmithie actually able to take it out. Pure auto attacks.
Nice by him.
The one thing that is a little bit lacking here from Team 8, I don't see PorpoisePops with many good tunnels in position right now to make any actually game-changing plays. Right now, all of the tunnels are really just for getting around the jungle faster. So you can see there, pops the ultimate once again.
Yep.
He's just cruising around his jungle really quickly, trying to get up that experience and gold advantage from farming super hard. But not really going to be the game changer as far as the initiation is concerned. However, Team 8 waited long enough, and he flashed back up now.
And honestly, yeah, PorpoisePops the same level as Xmithie, who doesn't have an ult that gets him around the map into the jungle faster. So really not a lot to show for it from PorpoisePops here. The Rek'Sai early game power not doing much yet. The early game team not doing much either. The engages haven't been really finding anything. Dragons in 10 seconds. Baron's up now.
All right, this is going to be a really, really telling fight for Team 8. Right now they're split up. This could be fairly bad for them. They need Annie with the rest of the team. If Annie gets caught and has to blow the Tibbers early, they are in a bad, bad situation.
And Benny at half of a Narbar right here. Will become large soon. Dragon could easily be contested with this Blade of the Ruin King.
The other thing I really like about Benny building full tank... Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, Ward's getting hit back and forth. Xmithie slowed down, but so far Doublelift just getting free shots here, basically.
Yeah, early Blade is also really good against Sion since he gets so much health.
True.
I do have to say, though, one of the best things against an Annie support, since she's so popular now, people should be running a very strong full tank. Because a full tank in front of Annie's so squishy. If you have 1 point man, it's hard for her to get around. Sion comes in, though.
They find Xmithie, and that is going to be nearly a dead Jarvan. Flash in, CaliTrolz finds one. Now, will they get more? Double from the back lines. Rocket jumps away, slash into CaliTrolz. To knock up onto Benny. PorpoisePops really low. Knocks up, gets a heal. Benny fails the flash. That's going to be a second kill. Now Link gets slowed down. There's no turrets around them, but back goes Team 8.
There's that trigger. They pulled it. Team 8 with the mid game looking for the big fight. They were able to get an Annie stun on both Doublelift and Benny. Now it's going to be the Dragon after. Let's see if they can actually finish it. Yes, they can. No smite available for any steal.
They know doubles in that brush.
Doublelift not really planning anything, just trying to wait out his time and see where Team 8 goes.
Wow. Bit of hubris by CLG.
All right, so as we said, it's much easier for Rek'Sai to come in right behind Sion ultimate. Gets in the back, Annie stun, Benny plus Doublelift. So they didn't get much damage out of Doublelift, maybe 4 or 5 auto attacks before someone's already dead. PorpoisePops in there to bait Benny a little bit. He unburrows and immediately flashes. So he gets his knockup off before flashing all the way into a bush. Pretty risky, but good play from him right there as he gets away with it. And then Benny, a little bit panicked right there, as you said, not able to get out over the wall, and they got an extra kill for it.
One thing was actually unsung there. That fight should have been even worse. The Janna ulti actually knocked maplestreet over the wall after he had already Valkyried in. Took him like 10 seconds to walk all the way around as his team's fighting without him. There could have been a lot more done there, but still 2 for 0 plus. The Dragon, not bad. That said, CLG equalized the turrets after the recall. So CLG, Tide and Dragon's now up in gold, despite Team 8 holding a kill lead.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign for Team 8. Doublelift already working on some actual damage now here. Has picked up a BF sword after that. So he's simultaneously working on his Phantom Dancer as well as BF item, which will probably be Infinity Edge.
I suppose he might just stop on Zeal and then get the Eye Edge actually completed instead of going to PD. I think it's actually optimal. Doublelift now starting to zone people out, and CLG, they do know they just lost the last fight, but in the next 2,000 gold, I think Doublelift makes that turnaround. The question is, when do CLG feel safe fighting? Because he just got kicked in for trying it last time.
And Corki still is got a ways to go. Corki, next big item is going to be Blade of the Ruin King. It provides so much deceptive burst here from Corki. He has ridiculous mixed damage. People often jump in on the Corkis, and Trinity Force plus Blade of the Ruin King, if you jump on him, he can destroy you very quickly because it makes Phosphorus Bomb very easy to land, and the active from Blade of the Ruin King, taking off your percentage health. We'll see, though. It also helps with chasing down.
Yeah.
They can get into one of these messy fights once again. So they want to work around the Gnar transformation.
And here we go. CLG saying, yep, we're going to play Siege. Level 12 on Doublelift. Pops the rapid fire. Mid-tier going down. Dodo jumped on incredibly low on health. Nard into the wall. 1 for 0. There's the knockback by Aphromoo. 1 hit away from the turret hitting him. Barely just survives, but another kill for Doublelift. Benny in the front line still. 1 does get traded back. It's a 2 for 1 here, but Link still rooting people up. Slooshi's got to be careful. Doesn't quite land the knockup, though. CaliTrolz taking a lot of damage from Doublelift. The Rockets come in, though.
Ooh.
Teammate could win this fight. In goes maplestreet. Can he get Benny? Yes, he can. Now, can he get Link? 1 rocket lands. 2 for 2 overall.
Sion chasing.
Link goes in. Wow, the burst is not enough, but Exhaust is there, and Double's gonna clean them all up.
Cali's you can't chase Janna. Can't chase Tristana either, so.
Bit of acrobatics.
What a play, though, there. Link making the call to turn that one back around, sacrifices his own life, locking everyone up and getting off that AoE of Lissandra, allowing Doublelift and Aphromoo to pick up the extra cash as well as blue buff.
That fight was so incredibly close, but CLG did it. A great exhaust at the end of that fight to make
And this is pretty much all about tank positioning. Benny's there before Sion. This is why I really don't like having my main tank with the teleport split pushing, because it takes so long for a teleport channel to go off. Someone can die before the end of your teleport channel, and not having your main tank there for this team fight is exactly what destroyed Team 8. Benny was able to walk right in the middle of the turret even, and pick up a kill before he even arrived. So here goes Link, bursting everybody down, getting them low enough so that Doublelift can get the reset and finish off the zombie as well.
Another engage here. Link in the mid lane. Xmithie there as well, but Dodo getting some really good damage down. There's the ulti force defensively. PorpoisePops is here, betting in the front lines. Link 100 health basically, but CaliTrolz can't do enough damage. He's going to be going down. Xmithie on the chase. Doublelift as well. That's the pickup. Slooshi gonna go down. That's a double for Doublelift. Living up to his name. Dodo 1 hit from dead. Out goes teammate.
Well,
oh, hold on. That's a Sion.
Yeah, and that's going to be mid lane here for CLG. Different story to this team fight, no AD carry for Team 8. So somebody for Team 8, one of the key members missing in back-to-back fights. No tank first time around, then no AD carry second time around. And CLG, this should be very, very good news for CLG fans, because especially with the Tristana, this game getting quickly out of hand for CLG, they should be able to run away with it at this point.
And one thing I think Team 8 really, really needed this game, especially when you're considering CLG's relying on Tristana. We'll get to that later.
Xmithie flashes in for the missed EQ, but it doesn't matter. Like we said, Corki's off bottom lane farming, and CLG just collapsed. Even pouring all the damage into CaliTrolz, who gets the Lulu ult, they are still able to clean him up and take down the rest of the members.
Quick cleanup. This is Link.
Oh, he got Link.
Realized what was happening, I guess. Yeah.
If you have the Frost Ring, like, he could have snared him and walked the other way. But he snared him and walked past him.
Link just kind of didn't realize that Sion was back, I guess. Oh well, whatever. It's looking good. Another catch though. Dodo goes down. CLG just turned it on 25 minutes in. CaliTrolz stomps the ground on nothing, gets a knockup, but gets ulted in by Link. That's going to be a dead again. Sion. Double kill now for Link.
All right, CLG definitely in complete control of this game. Looks like it will be mid lane turrets as well as some easy dragon pressure if they decide to fall back on the dragon. Inhibitor turret though, #1 on the list. And the options right now, extremely limited for Team 8. No flash on Annie, no ultimate for Sion. Even if he gets back up in time, it'll be really hard for them to contest this dragon. He does have teleport, but again, no ultimate means he's just walking over there, trying to land a skill shot. PorpoisePops gets caught.
And he's gonna die. There's one for nothing. Slooshi tries to fight Doublelift, not gonna be enough. Timbers comes down. They do trade it back, a 2-for-1. But I don't think Team 8's gonna get much more out of this one. CLG will retreat.
They don't get the dragon, so Team 8 have stalled that one at least.
But they're just missing team members. PorpoisePops ulti is up soon-ish, right around the time that Rek'Sai respawns. Maybe that'll give Team 8 the ability to contest for this, but
CLG don't have to make any plays right now. All they have to do is wait for Doublelift to come back up. Hovering around Dragon, though, they don't want to give up position.
Dragon has started. Link's going to take some damage here. This is actually not the worst positioning in the world. There's the ulti in for Rek'Sai, not too far away, but the engage, wow! Down goes maplestreet, paving the road with the poor guy, and Benny gets another kill onto Dodo. Link will at least get caught, but over and over again, it's a 2-for-1. CLG get more kills. They're just getting farther and farther ahead.
They're re-engaging again. All right, Dragon's still alive.
PorpoisePops really wants to do some stuff, but
he has
a very squishy Rek'Sai. Benny and Xmithie could probably win that fight. Aphromoo's not far away either. Doublelift has respawned and has joined the fray.
There he is. Now. Doublelift arriving. That should be the dragon for CLG. No steal attempt really here from PorpoisePops, and CLG stacking it up.
And now sieging going to be even easier. They kill turrets faster now with that buff. And what I was going to talk about a little while ago. So one core problem here with CaliTrolz is he tunnels kind of hard on what he thinks is like his optimal build. I think he builds Iceborne Gauntlet more than most other items in the game on his tanks. Problem is, there's a Tristana in this game. You really care about the champion's damage output. Frozen Heart, which I thought he was going for, would have been a massive pickup.
Yeah, and it does even do a lot of work against Jarvan, and even a full tank Gnar as well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
every sign in the world builds that item first, except CaliTrolz.
He's probably not going to get off an auto attack on Doublelift either, unless they get the magnificent engage that they want, in which case Doublelift should be dead anyway.
Oh, they got it! Great knockup! That was beautiful!
And there it is. That's the magnificent engage that they want. The flash timbers from Dodo 8. This is the push that they have to make something work. Doublelift down. They're going to take at least one turret here. Where can they head after? They the shield from Janna. The minion buff.
All right, now bot lane's got a big wave. Benny is starting to clear it. Teammate not even going to go for Dragon, not going to go for Baron. They take the one kill, the one turret, and peace out.
They would have to chain kills, I think, if they really wanted to make something out of this. So, not able to do that. Oh, they're looking for it, though.
Or did they bait CLG into the wrong spot? A nice knockup's going to catch Xmithie. Q gets canceled. In goes Link. Dodo's about to die, but maybe Lulu has something to say about this one. Here comes the fight. No Doublelift, but CLG's going to win a 4v5. They're just cleaning up kills now. CaliTrolz the only man alive. That's how far CLG is ahead. You don't even need Doublelift.
You could tell that Team 8 were feeling the same way. They wanted to chain some kills, take advantage while there's no Doublelift on the field. But my goodness, that is the Wombo combo right there. Teleport right into Gnar ultimate from Benny, locking everybody up. Link goes in first. Frozen Tomb on himself to keep them in place. Beautiful play from CLG. They'll get the Baron easily after this. So let's take another look. Link goes right into the middle. Frozen Tomb on himself still does all the damage he needs in an AoE on everybody. And then Jarvan Cataclysm goes up. There's a wall there anyway. Benny comes in for the full team Gnar ultimate. Only person he didn't get was Sion, which doesn't matter. And then finish him up last.
Down he goes.
So yes, even without the Tristana in the late game, the 3 offensive item Trist, they still take out the entire team for Team 8, and CLG should be fairly easy for them to push in now. Baron buff on top of all the leads that they have.
Oh man, they're already going to be good at killing turrets. Tristana practically outranges them at this point.
Team 8 here.
Yeah.
No flash this time for Annie, and that's really their main hope. Is a miracle, another Timbers onto Doublelift and blow them up. As we've seen though, even if they kill Doublelift, if they all group up to do it, then they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, the damages are just enough. No lock-in on the team means AoE damage even better. Dodo, he got Talisman of Ascension, he got Distortion Enchant in the boots. He wants really badly to do this. Link, that's a cute move. He puts the claw in the wall, so you don't always see it.
Yeah.
And he still pops out to the side. That's really clever.
All right, running in on the base here. CLG looking to take it home. PorpoisePops in the middle of everything.
Knocked up, and it's going to be just explosions there. 1 for nothing. Inhibitor's going to go down. CLG in complete control. They can look towards the Nexus turrets. Looks like they will do so. Threat number 1 under immense pressure. Jungler dead. 4v5. Here comes Team 8. No knock-up there for CaliTrolz. He is tanky, though. You can see he doesn't die very fast, but there's no backup for him. Xmithie trying to make it happen. Shields come in. Nice stun from Annie. Good initial burst, but it's not enough. Benny's there. maplestreet's going to go down. Doublelift finds himself some more kills. And Team 8 are all gone here. This is the second turret going down. This is the inhibitor under fire, or the Nexus, I should say. And that is GG. 34.5 minutes. CaliTrolz Gaming start out the NALCS 1-0.
Man, that draft phase for CLG.
Whew. Yep.
They got so many first pick worthy champions. That is almost ridiculous.
Lissandra, Janna.
Every single one of those. So ridiculous how well that went for them. And all you have to give up for it is Rek'Sai. That is a bargain, my friend.
Not even Corki, I feel like, is on that tier, really.
Nope.
Wow. Yep.
So
that's without CLG's main coach, too. That's Zix doing it for him instead of Skara. The substitute top laner, substitute coach. The trend continues. The subs are doing well today in the North American LCS.
Yeah, I mean, having your coach have to sub out seems like it's a really easy workaround. I mean, they can coach you at home, they can write down exactly what you need, and have somebody there. Also, Zix, by the way, just because he's the analyst, this guy's been with the team for just as long.
True.
This guy's been with the team for longer than Scar has been.
That's
he
true.
was there all last split. This guy has the relationship with the players. He has the trust of the players, and he's had things under control for a while now. So, very good showing here by CLG. Yeah, from draft up to Nexus Explosion.
And I gotta say, you did say their draft was good, but not only, this is actually a trap I think some teams fall into, is pick all the top tier champions are going to win. You heard I Will Dominate talk about how much he praised his team's coach, saying, you know, he makes sure that we don't just pick champions, we mold it into a team composition. I think this happened here for sure with CaliTrolz Gaming. Not only did they get these highly sought after champions, but saying, hey, well, we needed some late game scaling. We picked the Tristana, but we got the wave clear to make sure that that would still stay afloat. The Lissandra come in here, Jarvan's got a little bit of it, Gnar's got a bit of it here. Janna helps keep the turrets alive, right? The comp actually worked out, no big glaring weaknesses. Smart of CLG.
And I really do have to give some props also to the XDG members.
Yep.
Both of them performing admirably, subbing in there for CLG. Xmithie on his permanent role as well.
Aphromoo also a great game on top of him. Almost a perfect score, 1-0 in 20.